So if James is watching, we'd like for this item to stay and not to be returned to Horsch. I'm sure Michael Horsch will love me to say that.
Solitary for months and months on my own down here, but now I've got company and I'm a bit overwhelmed, to be honest.
Tom had a sense of humour failure because he was flying over the top of me with his drone, and a kite thought it liked the sight of his drone.
Afternoon everyone, it's the 28th of May, that's it. Currently still in the yard, just getting towards the end of digging out now. Just moving piles of stuff away at the moment. Current pile I'm on is stuff that's going for crush. To Tom's right, we've got all the stuff that's been processed, which we've now got to move because obviously we want to dig up underneath it. So there's now more people down here than there's been for months. I've been solitary for months and months on my own down here, but now I've got company and I'm a bit overwhelmed, to be honest. So I'll try and keep my cool and keep going. But yeah, it's been a long process, but we're getting there, getting towards the end of it now. So fingers crossed we'll all be ready for open day. So there's a rumour going around, there's a trial been done with Agri about black grass control, which we all know ploughing is good for. So fingers crossed I'm going to get some more ploughing out of it this year. I'll quite happily sit on the plough all season. So whether we can convince James to do it or not, I don't know, but fingers crossed we will.
We're currently in the Field of Dreams with Horsch as one of their ideas that they had to the field to show the compaction and comparison between our wheelings. We've dug a trench along here just on the edge of the crop, and you can currently see here all the varied compaction between the wheelings, and these are our 36-metre tram lines. And you can see the compaction in the centre and all the root structure that we've currently got. And we've got 3 other holes across the field, so you can see the variation throughout all the soil, and you can obviously see a nice deep clay base in here, but it allows us to see the compaction and the variation between non-compaction and compaction through the whole crop. So as you can see here in the wheeling, it's a lot more compact and it's a lot more compressed, which would really struggle for crop to grow in that because it's a lot harder compared to like when you look at the cropped area and not within the wheelings. You can see it's a lot softer and a lot fluffier, which will be a benefit of us not driving in various places all over the field. So this area will always stay nice and soft and not so compact and fluffier, which allows for better root structure within it compared to tram lines where it's a lot harder compact and it's a lot harder for the crop to get down and through. So as you can see, we're fully in the new spray store, making use of the baler, the cardboard. We've currently got our chemical stacked up here. We've not got a huge amount of chemical here because we're currently running in Bedfordshire and Lincolnshire. We've got the sprayers. This sprayer was spraying mustard last week, and we've had, due to the weather this week, it's been either windy or raining. So what we've had to do is we've had to lay the sprayer down here, well, lay all the sprayers down, unfortunately. But we're looking at the weather forecast for the next couple of days. Later on in the evenings, before the dew comes in, is a slightly better window for us. So I'm taking the PT280 later on this afternoon down to Bedfordshire. Kieran is already down there with the 8.3, so we're hoping to hopefully get a tank each out, or possibly a bit more later on this afternoon into early evening. And then we'll get Bedfordshire probably knocked off either this evening or tomorrow evening, and then we'll be back up to Lincolnshire to try and get as much of the N28 on the wheat as we can, because it's getting to a very crucial point where it's looking like it is going to start growing a bit more, so we need to get the N28 on at a critical time. So we're trying to push on, so hopefully going forward we'll get that done and then get up to Lincolnshire and get it all done, and we'll be back to normal. So we're currently just coming into the compound, well, what was originally the compound. Dave's got some drainage laid in here, and then we've got him putting in the curbs, so we're trying to get this next step ready for concreting. Glyn and Raymond and Chris are currently in the compound just clearing up the last section of it and getting it through the grader so we can get all the stone cleared out, and hopefully we should be able then to clear all the compound and get the fresh stone laid back down ready for open day. So if James is watching, we'd like for this item to stay and not to be returned to Horsch. I'm sure Michael Horsch will love me to say that. This is the same drill that we had in the autumn, which helped us out massively, a HORSCH Avatar. Really versatile drill in many conditions, and we were really impressed with it. They've got it here for the Horsch month, and it'll also be here on our open day. So if anybody else is interested, it's a great, phenomenal direct drill and min-till drill. So yeah, it's a really good machine. We were really impressed with it, and we really like the job that it's done, and the crop coming up afterwards is very impressive as well. So we're just currently down here at Cherry Tree in Pecklands. One of Richard Elkington's guys is very kindly down here trimming the outsides of the hedges, outsides of the fields, not the hedges, and cleaning out all the ditches, ready for the open day in preparation, and just to make it look a bit smarter. We're able to get on obviously with foraging, whereas we would normally do this after combining, but it's allowing us to get ahead a bit and hopefully tidy everything up. We're also in Pecklands here, where we've just got Horsch currently setting up all the machines, just trying them, working them all out, setting them up all ready for their month here of preparation with everybody coming.
So just a little update from in the office. James is away, and so's Mara, and so's Kate, because it's half term, so I'm here on my own. So my office is looking a little bit messy. Paperwork everywhere, piles for each person sat everywhere ready for their return. We're quite busy this week. We were doing the foraged oats, finishing that off at the start of the week. Now we're on to milling oats to fill a store, getting some claims on them going through, and they're taking a little bit of time to get approved. So that's slowing things down a little bit, but we'll keep pushing on and get as many loads in as we can, fill the store as quick as possible. So we're out in the yard with, unfortunately, a slight casualty from on the back of the foraged oats. As you can see on this part here, the loader bucket must have just caught the rear hoop and bent it in. Unfortunately, it's not something we can straighten and fix too easily. Ordered a part from Newton Trailers. We sent somebody to go and fetch it yesterday afternoon. Come to fit it this morning. Unfortunately, it's actually the wrong part. Luckily, after a couple of phone calls, Throw Off have stepped up, got us the right part, and we've had to send the driver to Grantham to the Throw Off factory, pick up the correct part so we can have it back on the road later this afternoon. As you can see in the background, hive of activity in another area. We've got some solar panels being fitted to the top of Edinburgh store. Solar's been supplied by Anglia Farmers. I think they're fairly well through it now. I think they were just waiting for one last pallet of panels which came yesterday. They've been lifted up this morning and fitted, and I think they're just wiring them in now.
It's 9:15. We're currently down in Bedfordshire putting T2s and a bit of N28 on the wheat. I'm down here in the PT280 and Kieran's down here in the 8.3. We've just come down this evening just to try and catch these small bits of time that we can currently get on. We've been struggling with the wind and also struggling with the rain. Rain's definitely been needed for the crops, but the wind has just been stopping us, so we're getting these small windows in the evenings just before the damp comes down that we can get a small tank load or half a tank load on, just to try and get ahead of ourselves and catch the wheat at the right time to get these T2s on.
So it's Saturday lunchtime, currently up here in Lincolnshire. Came up here this morning, left the yard about 6 o'clock. Got back from Bedfordshire last night about 12:30. Managed to get the T2s knocked off in Bedfordshire, which was really good. Mike was very happy. We're currently up here in Lincolnshire to get the T2s just the way the wheat's getting through its growth stages. So we'll get the T2s hopefully knocked out today. Chris and myself had about 221 hectares to go through, so that's not too bad. Unfortunately today, PT280 is having a bit of a problem with the contour sensors, but hopefully I can try and fix it. We've turned it off and turned it on and unplugged them, so I might need to have them go and have an investigation, see if we can find out whether there's an air leak or something else going on. Tom had a sense of humour failure because he was flying over the top of me with his drone, and a kite thought it liked the sight of his drone, so he had to very quickly bring it back, or else it was going to be bird food for the rest of the day, which wouldn't have gone very well. But yeah, everything's going well. I think James is due back tomorrow, so videos will be resuming back to normal from next week, and hopefully we should have the T2s knocked out here, and then I think the PT280 is staying up here, so I've got a bit of beans to spray up here. Now that the beans have got to their slightly higher stage, we try and do it with the self-propels, because the tractors generally knock too much of the bean out when we're a bit rough on the headlands here, where they've got the mats down for the chicken muck and the digestate. So we use the self-propels on the beans just because they're a lot higher than the tractors, so it allows us not to knock too much of the beans out of the stalks. And then we're back on to Michael's possibly talking about ear washing next week back in Cambridge. So yeah, the crop's coming on really well. Definitely a lot faster than they've done the last few years with the hot weather that we've had, but thankfully this rain's helped as well, and unfortunately with the rain there's come a bit of wind, which has made it a bit trickier for us to get all this spraying done, just with the high winds during the day and then dropping off in the night. But obviously we can only spray so far to them. We've got to have allowed time for it to dry off before the dew, if the dew sets in, or if there isn't a dew set in, just try and keep going. But yeah, get on really well. So just going to the next field, we're just going to turn the isolator off and give her a minute and see if that makes a difference to the boom leveling. We're currently here on the wheat ground in Lincolnshire where it was drilled by the Avatar. As you can see, it's got quite a large spacing, which Michael was quite worried about, with weeding grass in the middle of it. But when you look down into it, you can really see it's fairly clean down in there. This wheat crop this year is looking incredibly clean, not much disease, and it's looking really well. Hopefully we can get a good crop off it this year. So currently in the sprayer up in Lincolnshire, I've dragged Tom out this afternoon to get a bit more filming done, a bit more content for the video, because I can tell you now it's 1:15 and Michael will be sat on his sofa with a box of Ferrero Rochers enjoying his Saturday, not doing a lot of exercise, and James is still on holiday, so we're trying to get as much footage as possible to try and get the video done. Tom's with me now, just currently editing it, and trying to show you a bit of behind the scenes of what goes on that not a lot of people see, and what happens behind the camera.
I mean, what we won't say is we're not going to tell Michael and James that they can actually be quite helpful for these videos, because they do like to chat on, so they help pad out the videos for us. But I've just pulled in together what we've got so far. So everything you've seen in this video so far, we filmed over Wednesday, Thursday, and now today. We'll do this little clip, and rumour has it James might appear from his sunbed for an outro for this video. We just have to wait and see. It's a bit of a lengthy process. We're in the 280 now, and it is by far the worst passenger seat out of any of the kit we've got. The new combines are the best. I hear the sprayers have got the same cab, but these are awful. It's bouncy, it makes a racket, but hey, we get it done what we need to get done to get the video edited in time for tomorrow. It's going to take probably another 2 hours to get the edit together, and it'll take about an hour and a half to render it out. I then go home, get it uploaded. James will then get a link direct to Turkey so he can kind of do first approvals. We then get that finished, and then it will be titled, thumbnailed, scheduled to go live on all platforms, and hopefully, if you're watching this, it went live at 4 o'clock on Sunday, but this one could be a little bit tight, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, we'll see. But no, weather's sticking by us today. Got 2 sprayers up here, so it's all going well. Hopefully we'll keep Michael happy anyway.
Saturday night here in Turkey. It's raining, and we've had about 3 or 4 days of some sort of tricky weather. It's probably the weather we've all been hoping for, but unfortunately not when you're on holiday. I know it's rained back in Cambridge. I think Lincolnshire's had the most rain, which is good because that's the lightest of the soils on the brushy type Lincolnshire land. So yeah, we're back. By the time you're watching this, I'll be back at the helm, back in Cambridge tomorrow. We fly cracker sparrows in the morning, just before. What would it be? It'd be about 5:55 English time.
Yeah.
So yeah, Emmy's agreeing with me. They're not happy about having to get up so early. They're technically getting up at 3 in the morning to get on this plane. But been a great time with the family. Last time now for got 5 months of work, so I don't get to have any time with them obviously during the summer holidays. So it's good that this is an important holiday, and then so is the October one. So. A couple of questions come through. You're quite right. I think the plough has got a place in agriculture, and it always will do, and it has done for over 2,000 years. I think for everything in rotation is important, whether it's cultivations, and what Michael's trials showed, or Agri's trials showed, was that there what became a point for, regardless of whether it's direct drilling or whether it's cultivated drilling or drilling on top of plough, there becomes a point, I think, when everything starts to cross over. And we still run the plough in the rotation in front of the mustard, and I think ploughing deep in a sort of an 8-year to 10-year rotation, I think, is a good reset of land to try and get rid of some black grass that's built up over that time. Also, there are some crops which do inherently seem to create black grass problems, and oilseed rape now that curb and things isn't working as well as it used to. actually that's bringing in black grass, because allowing it to go from early establishment right through to seeding before it's harvested. So look forward to seeing you all back next week. Get to see what mayhem has happened on my week away, and we are only now countdown of 3 weeks until the open day, and unfortunately next week I'm going to be 49. So that's only 1 year away from being 50, which my children think is very entertaining. And just to reassure you all, I've still got the same teeth, same thinning hair, and we've not had a boob reduction, Michael. But there's no reductions going on at PX. If there's going to be anything, it'd be a boob job, Michael, which looks like you might have partaked in. But thanks ever so much, everybody, that's subscribed, and keep subscribing, and any new people, welcome, and we look forward to seeing you next week. All the best. Bye bye.